Kim Dae-ho stood at the observation deck of the colony's main building. He watched the sky above Kepler 442b turn dark with alien ships. The massive crystal vessels hung in space like deadly jewels. Each one was bigger than their entire colony. He counted 40 ships, maybe more. His hand shook as he gripped the metal rail. "Sir, we need to make a decision," said Park Bo-ram from behind him. She was the colony's communications officer. Her voice was calm, but Dae-ho could hear the fear underneath. "The alien fleet is moving into attack position." Dae-ho turned around. The main control room was full of people, miners, engineers, farmers, children. All 3,000 colonists were looking at him for answers. He was their leader, but he felt very small right now. "What do our defenses look like?" Dae-ho asked Lee Won-sik, the security chief. Won-sik shook his head. "We have some mining equipment we can use as weapons. A few transport ships that might work as fighters. But against those crystal ships," he pointed at the ceiling, "we might as well throw rocks at them. The alien ships had appeared 3 hours ago. They came out of hyperspace without warning. The colonists had been having a normal day. People were working in the mines, tending crops, teaching children. Then the sky filled with enemy vessels. The lead alien ship had sent a message. The voice was cold and mechanical. It spoke perfect human language, which made it even more frightening. "Humans of this world," the voice had said, "you are now under Vorthak control. You will surrender all mining equipment and submit to harvesting. Those who resist will be eliminated. You have 12 standard hours to comply." Nobody knew what harvesting meant, but it did not sound good. "Sir," said Bo-ram, "I'm getting reports from other colonies. The Vorthak have hit 17 human settlements in the past 2 months. They killed everyone." The room fell silent. Even the children stopped talking. Dae-ho closed his eyes for a moment. He thought about his wife and daughter back on Earth. He had come to this distant world to build a better life for them. Now he might never see them again. "Can we contact Earth?" he asked. Bo-ram checked her equipment. "Our main transmitter was damaged when the aliens jammed our communications. But I think I can boost the quantum relay with emergency power. It will use up our last reserves, but we might get one message through." "Do it," Dae-ho said immediately. The alien voice came through the speakers again. "Humans, you now have 11 hours and 47 minutes. Prepare for surrender or face destruction." Children started crying. Adults held each other close. Some people prayed quietly. Won-sik gathered his security team. They were mostly miners who had learned to use weapons to protect against wild animals. "We'll set up defensive positions around the main buildings," he told Dae-ho. "Use the mining vehicles as mobile cover. It won't stop orbital bombardment, but if they land troops—" "They won't land troops," said Dr. Yang Mi-ran, the colony's scientist. She had been studying the alien ships through their telescopes. "Their weapons are designed to destroy everything from space. They will turn the entire surface into glass. No survivors." The room got even quieter. "Then we fight anyway," Won-sik said firmly. "We make them remember that humans don't give up." Bo-ram worked frantically at her station. Sparks flew from damaged circuits as she rerouted power to the transmitter. "Almost ready," she said. "But this signal will take weeks to reach Earth through the quantum relays. Even if someone gets our message, help won't come in time." "Send it anyway," Dae-ho ordered. "Someone needs to know what happened here." He sat down at the communication station. His fingers moved slowly over the keyboard as he typed their final message to the galaxy. "This is New Sol Colony on Kepler 442b, he spoke into the microphone. Bo-ram recorded his words and prepared them for transmission. "We are 3,000 souls under attack by the Vorthak Empire. They have given us 12 hours to surrender before they destroy our world. We have nowhere to run. No way to fight ships that big. Anyone, please help us. If you get this message after we're gone, remember that we tried to build something good here. Remember that we were human." He paused, thinking of his family again. "Tell Earth that we loved them to the end." Bo-ram pressed the transmission button. The quantum signal shot out into space, bouncing from relay to relay across the galaxy. It would take a very long time to reach Earth. Too long. "Message sent," she said quietly. The hours passed slowly. Won-sik's team set up their makeshift defenses. People said goodbye to each other. Some wrote final letters they would never send. Others just held their loved ones close. Dr. Yang kept watching the alien ships through the telescope. "They're charging their weapons," she reported. "I can see purple energy building up in their crystal hulls." Dae-ho stood up and addressed the colony one last time. "In a few hours, those ships will fire on us. We cannot stop them. But I want everyone to know that living here with you has been the greatest honor of my life. We came to this world to build something new. We succeeded. We made a home together far from Earth. That means something." People nodded and wiped away tears. "We are not just colonists," Deho continued. "We are explorers. We are the ones who dared to reach for the stars. And even if we die today, somewhere out there other humans are doing the same thing. The human spirit cannot be destroyed by alien weapons." 1-6 voice came over the radio. "Alien ships are moving to bombardment position. All defensive teams prepare for—" "Wait," his voice changed. "Something's wrong. The aliens have stopped moving." Through the windows they could see the crystal ships holding position. They were not attacking yet. Boram checked her instruments. "I'm detecting some kind of transmission between the alien ships. They seem to be waiting for something." Dr. Yang looked up from her telescope. "Maybe they're giving us more time to surrender?" "No," said 1-6 over the radio. "Something has their attention. They're scanning the edge of the system." Deho felt a small spark of hope, but he pushed it down. Hope was dangerous now. It would only make their deaths harder. The alien commander's voice filled the air again. "Humans, you now have 4 hours remaining. Use this time to prepare for surrender. Resistance is futile." But there was something different in the voice this time. It sounded less certain. Boram suddenly grabbed Deho's arm. "Sir, I'm picking up quantum signatures at the system edge. Multiple contacts moving fast. Asteroids?" Dr. Yang suggested. "No," Boram said, her eyes wide. "These are artificial. These are ships." The entire colony held its breath. Outside, the alien vessels were turning their sensors toward deep space. Purple energy still glowed in their weapons, but they seemed confused. Deho looked at the faces around him. Maybe, just maybe, someone had heard their cry for help. Maybe they were not alone after all. But he tried not to hope too much. In this dark corner of the galaxy, who would be crazy enough to challenge 40 alien warships? The answer was coming, racing through space toward their small world. They would know soon if salvation was possible, or if this was just another cruel delay before the end. Admiral Choi Jae-sung sat in the Earth Defense Council meeting room. The message from New Seoul Colony played again on the main screen. Kim Daeho's voice echoed through the chamber, asking for help that seemed impossible to give. "The transmission took 3 weeks to reach us through the quantum relays," said General Kim Taiwan. "By now, the colony is probably already destroyed. We would be sending our ships on a suicide mission to save ghosts. The distance is too great," added Defense Minister Park Hyun-soo. "Kepler 442b is in the outer rim. Our fastest ships would take months to get there, even pushing the jump drives beyond safe limits." Jae-sung stared at the star map. The colony was so far away it looked like a tiny dot on the edge of known space. Other council members shook their heads and muttered about impossible distances and wasted resources. But Jae-sung was not listening to them anymore. He was thinking about his younger brother Choi Jae-won. 5 years ago, Jae-won had been a mining engineer on Titan Colony. The Zephyrian raiders had attacked without warning. The colony had sent distress signals for days before the communications went silent. When Earth ships finally arrived, they found nothing but ash and melted metal. Jae-sung had been the one to tell his parents that their youngest son was dead. He had promised himself that no other family would go through that pain if he could prevent it. "Admiral," said Minister Park, "we understand your feelings, but we cannot risk our entire fleet for one small colony. Earth needs these ships to defend the home system." Jae-sung stood up slowly. His uniform was covered with medals from 30 years of service. He had fought in the Martian Rebellion, the Centauri War, and dozens of smaller conflicts. Nobody questioned his loyalty to Earth. "How many people live on Kepler 442b?" he asked quietly. 3,000, replied an aide. "And how many human colonies have we lost to alien raiders in the past year?" 17 confirmed, sir." Jae-sung walked to the star map and pointed at each lost colony. "New Beijing, Port Santos, Freedom Station, Terra Nova. Every time we said the same thing. Too far, too dangerous, too late." His voice grew louder. "How many more colonies will we abandon before we admit that we're the ones being hunted?" The room fell silent. Everyone knew he was right, but nobody wanted to say it. "Admiral," said General Kim carefully, "even if we sent every ship we have, we might not reach them in time. And if we lose our fleet in deep space, Earth itself becomes vulnerable." Jae-sung turned to face the council. His eyes were hard as steel. Then we don't send every ship. We send enough ships to win. He pointed at the map again. We send a message to every alien species that thinks humans are easy prey. We show them that no matter how far you run, no matter how isolated you think you are, Earth remembers its children. The logistics alone, Minister Park began, are solvable, Jae-sung interrupted. We push the jump drives to maximum safe parameters. We use the experimental wormhole routes that navigation has been mapping. We strip every non-essential system from the ships to reduce mass. He paused. And we leave tonight. The council erupted in arguments. Some members said it was impossible. Others called it military suicide. A few younger officers started calculating supply requirements and jump distances. Jae-sung let them argue for 10 minutes. Then he slammed his hand on the table so hard that coffee cups jumped. Enough, he said. I am not asking for permission. I am informing you of my decision. The Earth Defense Fleet will depart for Kepler 442b in 18 hours. Any ship captain who wants to volunteer can come with me. Any who prefer to stay can explain to their crews why we left humans to die alone. He walked toward the door, then stopped. My brother died calling for help that never came. I will not let that happen again. Not on my watch. The council room exploded into chaos as Jae-sung left, but within an hour, volunteer requests started flooding in from ship captains across the solar system. Captain Han Soo-jin of the dreadnought Soul's Hammer was the first to respond. Admiral, my ship and crew are ready for departure. Just tell us where to point the guns. The mighty Soul's Hammer was Earth's most powerful warship. It carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Soo-jin had commanded it for 7 years and never lost a battle. Captain, Jae-sung said over the communication link. This mission might be one way. The distances involved, the risks to our jump drives. We might not make it home. With respect, sir, Soo-jin replied. Home is where humans live safely. If that includes Kepler 442b, then that's where we need to be. More ships joined the fleet. Heavy cruisers, Busan's Pride, Daegu's Fury, and 10 others. 30 destroyers from various patrol squadrons. The experimental supercarrier Incheon's Pride, loaded with humanity's best fighter pilots. Chief Engineer Nam Ki-tae worked around the clock to modify the ship's jump drives. Admiral, what you're asking for has never been attempted, he told Jae-sung. Pushing the drives this hard for such a long distance. We could tear holes in space-time. What are the odds of success? Jae-sung asked. 60% chance we reach Kepler 442b intact. 20% chance we arrive with significant damage. 20% chance we don't arrive at all. And if we don't try? Ki-tae was quiet for a moment. Then 3,000 people definitely die. Then we try. Navigation Officer Yoon Hee-jin had found a dangerous but faster route through unstable wormhole networks. Sir, these passages have never been mapped properly. We could emerge inside a star, or in the middle of a black hole's gravity well, but it cuts our travel time in half? Yes, sir. Instead of 3 months, we could reach Kepler 442b in 6 weeks. Plot the course. As the fleet prepared to depart, news of the mission spread across Earth's communication networks. Families gathered at observation points to watch the ship's launch. Children held signs saying, "Bring them home." Veterans saluted as the mighty vessels passed overhead. Jae-sung stood on the bridge of Soul's Hammer as the fleet assembled in high orbit. 43 ships, the largest military force Earth had ever sent beyond the solar system. Most of them might never return. Admiral, reported Communications Officer Lee Sung-min, all ships report ready for departure. Through the view screen, Jae-sung could see Earth below, blue and white and beautiful, his home for 57 years. He might be looking at it for the last time. Signal the fleet, he ordered. Today we prove that the human spirit has no boundaries. Today we show the galaxy that Earth never abandons its own. All ships, prepare for jump. The space around the fleet began to bend and twist as the jump drives powered up. Reality itself seemed to stretch like rubber. Jump drives at maximum power, reported Ki-tae. Navigation locked on target coordinates, added Hyejin. Jae-sung thought about the colonists on Kepler 442b. 3,000 people who had traveled impossibly far to build new lives among the stars. They had taken risks, just like his fleet was taking risks now. They deserved to live. All ships, he broadcast to the fleet, execute jump. Space exploded into brilliant light as 43 human warships vanished from Earth's solar system. They raced through dimensions that had no names, following paths between the stars that existed only in mathematics and hope. Behind them, Earth waited anxiously for news. Ahead of them, a small colony prepared to die, and somewhere in between, the human spirit pushed itself beyond all reasonable limits, driven by a simple idea that no government or alien empire could understand. Nobody gets left behind. Not ever. The purple glow from the Vorthak ships grew brighter as the hours passed. Kim Dae-ho watched from the observation deck as the alien vessels moved into their final attack positions. The crystal hulls of the warships reflected the light from Kepler 442b's twin suns, creating an almost beautiful display that would soon bring death. 2 hours remaining, announced Lee Won-sik over the colony's communication system. His security teams had set up their defensive positions, but everyone knew it was hopeless. Mining lasers and construction vehicles could not fight weapons that could destroy cities from orbit. Park Bo-ram sat at her communication station, still monitoring the quantum channels even though there was no point. The message to Earth would take weeks to arrive, and help would take even longer. She kept working because it was better than thinking about dying. Dr. Yang Mi-ran continued studying the alien ships through the telescope. "The energy buildup in their weapons is almost complete," she reported. "When they fire, the temperature on the surface will reach 3,000 degrees in seconds. The atmosphere will burn away." Some colonists gathered in the main dome to pray together. Others wrote final messages to families they would never see again. A few hardy souls joined Won-sik's teams, determined to fight even if fighting was useless. Dae-ho tried to stay calm for everyone else, but inside, he felt hollow. He had led these people to this distant world with promises of a better future. Now he was watching them prepare to die because of his decisions. "Sir," said Bo-ram suddenly, her voice sharp with excitement, "I'm detecting quantum signatures at the edge of the system. Multiple contacts moving fast toward us." Dae-ho rushed to her station. "Are you sure? Could it be an error?" "No, sir, these readings are definitely artificial. Ships, dropping out of hyperspace in formation." She checked her instruments again. "I count 43 contacts. They're human signatures." The entire dome fell silent. Even the children stopped making noise. "Human ships?" whispered Dr. Yang. "How is that possible?" Through the telescope, she could see new points of light appearing at the system's edge. They were too far away to identify, but the quantum signatures were definitely from Earth technology. Above them, the Vorthak fleet had noticed the newcomers too. The crystal ships were turning their sensors toward deep space, their weapon systems still charged but no longer aimed at the colony. Admiral Thexmaran's voice cut through the colony's speakers with mechanical anger. "Unknown vessels, you are entering Vorthak space. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed." Bo-ram's equipment crackled with an incoming transmission. The voice that answered was human, speaking with calm authority that sent chills through the listening colonists. "This is Admiral Choi Jae-sung of the Earth Defense Fleet. You have 30 seconds to withdraw from this system, or we will remove you." Dae-ho felt his knees go weak. The Earth Defense Fleet, here in this forgotten corner of the galaxy. It was impossible, but it was happening. The alien admiral's laughter was like grinding metal. "Foolish humans. You bring 43 ships against the might of the Vorthak Empire. We have defeated your kind 17 times. We will destroy you as we destroyed the others." 29 seconds, came Admiral Choi's reply. Through the telescope, Dr. Yang could see the human ships moving into battle formation with military precision. "The lead ship is massive," she reported, her voice filled with awe. "Bigger than anything I've ever seen. And those cruisers, how did they get here so fast?" Won-sik's voice came over the radio from his defensive position. "All teams, stay ready. This isn't over yet. Those aliens have been winning battles for months. Our people are brave, but they're outnumbered." The Vorthak ships began turning toward the approaching Earth fleet. Their crystal hulls pulsed with deadly energy as weapon systems that had destroyed 17 colonies prepared to fire again. Captain Han Soo-jin stood on the bridge of Seoul's Hammer, watching the enemy formation through tactical displays. "Admiral, the alien ships are massive. Each one is at least twice our size. Their weapons are already charged." "I can see that, Captain," Admiral Choi replied calmly. "What's our tactical assessment?" "They have superior firepower and defensive systems. reported Tactical Officer Ryu Min-ho. But their ships are slow and predictable. If we can use our speed and maneuverability, then we hurt them fast before they can react, Choi finished. Signal the fleet. All ships prepare for combat. Fighter squadrons launch when ready. On the supercarrier Incheon's Pride, ace pilot Kong Sun-mi suited up in her fighter cockpit. Around her, dozens of other pilots were doing the same. Listen up, everyone, she said over the squadron channel. Those crystal ships look tough, but they're just bullies picking on civilians. Time to show them what real fighters can do. Her wingman Jin Ho-seok checked his weapon systems. How many alien fighters are we looking at? Sensors show at least 200, replied pilot Bae Yuri from another fighter. Insect-like design. Probably fast but lightly armored. Good, said Sunmi with a smile that her enemies could not see. More targets to practice on. The Earth fleet spread out in attack formation as they raced toward the Vorthak ships. The alien admiral was broadcasting threats and demands for surrender, but no one was listening anymore. On Kepler 442b, the colonists watched through telescopes and sensors as their rescuers approached certain death. The human ships looked like toys compared to the massive crystal vessels waiting for them. This is suicide, whispered someone in the crowd. Those brave people are going to die trying to save us. Daeho stepped forward and raised his voice so everyone could hear. No, this is what humans do. This is why we're the ones who travel between the stars while others stay home. We don't abandon each other, ever. The first laser blast lit up space as the Vorthak ships opened fire. Brilliant purple beams reached out across the darkness, seeking to destroy the approaching Earth vessels. But the human ships danced between the energy blasts with impossible grace. Their smaller size and advanced engines let them move in patterns the aliens had never seen before. Sol's hammer fired its main guns, sending tungsten projectiles at incredible speed toward the Vorthak flagship. The crystal hull absorbed most of the impact, but cracks appeared in its surface. Direct hit, reported Ryu Min-ho. Enemy shields are strong, but not perfect. The alien fighters poured out of their carrier ships like angry insects. They moved fast, but in predictable swarms, just as Bae Yuri had guessed. Sunmi led her squadron straight into the enemy formation. Break by pairs, hit-and-run attacks. Don't try to fight them head-on, just keep them busy while the big ships do their work. Her fighters screamed through space, dodging alien fire while targeting their sensor arrays. Jin Ho-seok and Yuri covered her flanks, their weapons adding to the chaos of the growing battle. The space around Kepler 442b filled with laser fire, explosions, and the bright trails of military engines pushed beyond their limits. The colonists below watched in amazement as their rescuers fought against impossible odds. Admiral Thex Moran was no longer laughing. His flagship was taking damage from the human dreadnought, and his fighters were being outmaneuvered by pilots who fought like demons. How are they moving so fast? He demanded of his tactical officer. Human ships should not be capable of such maneuvers. Unknown, Admiral. Their technology appears more advanced than our intelligence suggested. On Sol's hammer, Captain Su-jin coordinated with the other ships as they executed complex attack patterns. Focus fire on the alien flagship's weapon arrays. If we can disable their main guns, the smaller ships can get closer. Engineering Chief Nam Ki-tai worked frantically to keep the ship's systems running as alien weapons pounded their hull. Hull integrity at 80%, he reported. We can take more hits, but not many. The battle raged across the system as Earth's finest warriors proved that distance meant nothing when family was in danger. They had traveled impossible distances and risked everything on the simple belief that no human should die alone. And in the growing field of debris and energy fire, that belief was becoming a reality that would change the galaxy forever. The space around Kepler 442b became a storm of light and destruction as Earth's fleet engaged the Vorthak Armada. Purple energy beams from the crystal ships crossed paths with human projectiles and missiles, creating a deadly dance among the stars. Kong Sunmi rolled her fighter through a barrage of alien fire. Her targeting computer locked onto a Vorthak sensor array. Target acquired, she called to her squadron. Jin Ho-seok, cover my approach. Bae Yuri, watch for those insect fighters coming from above. The alien fighters moved in swarms just as the human pilots had expected. They were fast and numerous, but they flew in predictable patterns that made them easier targets for experienced pilots. I've got 3 on my tail, reported Ho-seok as his fighters spiraled through the battle zone. They're fast, but they can't turn like we can. Lead them toward the cruiser formation, Sunmi ordered. Let our big guns handle them. The heavy cruiser Busan's Pride opened fire with its point defense systems, filling space with a web of laser fire that caught the pursuing alien fighters. 2 exploded immediately, while the third broke off its attack and fled back toward its carrier. On the bridge of Seoul's Hammer, Captain Han Soo-jin watched the tactical display as the battle developed. The human fleet was holding its own, but the alien ships were incredibly tough. Their crystal hulls absorbed enormous amounts of damage before showing any real signs of weakness. Tactical analysis, she called to Ryu Minho. The enemy ships are stronger than we expected, he reported. But they're also slower to adapt. They keep using the same attack patterns even when we counter them. What about their flagship? Admiral Thexmoran's ship is taking damage from our focused fire, but it's still operational. Those crystal hulls are like natural armor. Soo-jin nodded grimly. Then we need to hit them harder. Signal Admiral Choi. Request permission to execute Attack Pattern Delta. Attack Pattern Delta was dangerous. It required the human ships to close to near suicidal range, but it would concentrate their firepower on single targets instead of spreading it across the enemy fleet. Admiral Choi. Jae-sung received the request while his flagship traded massive blows with 2 Vorthak heavy cruisers. Approved, Captain. All ships execute Delta formation. Focus everything on the flagship. The Earth fleet suddenly changed its attack pattern. Instead of the careful dancing combat they had been using, the human ships charged straight toward the Vorthak flagship like an arrow aimed at the heart. What are they doing? Demanded Admiral Thexmaran as his sensors showed the human ships abandoning their defensive maneuvers. They will be destroyed if they come so close. But as the human ships closed distance, their combined firepower became overwhelming. Every gun, every missile launcher, every energy weapon focused on the Vorthak flagship's crystal hull. Engineering Chief Nam Ki-tae pushed Seoul's Hammer's engines beyond safe limits. Hull temperature rising beyond normal parameters, he reported. We're taking heavy fire, but the engines are holding. The bridge shook as alien weapons found their target. Sparks flew from damaged control panels, and the lights flickered as power systems strained under the assault. Hull integrity at 60%, called a damage control officer. Keep firing, ordered Captain Soo-jin. We break their flagship and the rest will follow. Navigation Officer Yoon Hye-jin coordinated the attack from her station, guiding the other ships into perfect formation. Cruiser formation Taguk is in position. Destroyer squadrons Alpha and Beta are ready for concentrated assault. The combined firepower of humanity's finest warships hammered the Vorthak flagship without mercy. Cracks appeared in its crystal hull, spreading like spider webs across the alien vessel's surface. In the fighter squadrons, Sunmi led her pilots in coordinated strikes against the alien ship's weapon systems. Target those purple energy nodes, she ordered. If we can disable their main guns, our ships can get even closer. Her fighter screamed past the flagship's hull, so close she could see the crystal formations that gave the ship its deadly beauty. Her weapons fired in perfect sequence, striking the alien weapon arrays with surgical precision. Direct hit on Target 7, reported Yuri. That energy node is offline. Good shooting, Sunmi replied. Hoseok, take your flight and hit the aft weapon clusters. I want that ship defenseless. The alien fighters tried to protect their flagship, but they were being overwhelmed by human tactics they had never encountered. The Earth pilots fought as individuals but moved as a single unit, covering each other and striking where the enemy was weakest. Down on Kepler 442b, the colonists watched the battle through telescopes and sensors. They could see explosions lighting up space as ships on both sides took damage, but the human fleet seemed to be gaining the advantage. Look at that, said Dr. Yang Mi-ran, pointing through the telescope. The alien flagship is losing power. I can see sections going dark. Park Bo-ram monitored the communications channels, listening to the rapid exchanges between Earth ships as they coordinated their assault. They're fighting like they've done this 1,000 times before, she said in amazement. Every move is perfect. Kim Dae-ho stood beside them, his heart pounding as he watched his people's salvation unfold among the stars. How many ships have we lost? He asked quietly. 3 destroyers heavily damaged but still fighting, Bo-ram reported. 1 cruiser with engine problems falling back to safe distance. But the rest, she smiled. The rest are tearing those aliens apart. The Vorthak flagship was dying. Its crystal hull, which had seemed so invincible, was cracking under the concentrated assault of Earth's fleet. Purple energy leaked from damaged weapon systems, and entire sections of the ship went dark as power failed. Admiral Thexmarin could not believe what he was seeing. His empire had conquered dozens of species. They had destroyed every human colony they had encountered. How could these Earthships be so different? "Sir," reported his tactical officer, "we are losing structural integrity. Primary weapons are offline. Life support is failing in sectors 4 through 7. "Impossible," Thexmaran snarled. "We are Vorthak. We do not lose to inferior species." But even as he spoke, another human missile struck his bridge, and the crystal viewing screen cracked down the middle. Captain Sujin felt Sol's hammer shudder as enemy fire found its mark again. They were taking terrible damage, but the alien flagship was finally breaking apart. "Admiral," she called to Choi Jae-sung. "Enemy flagship is losing structural cohesion. Recommend we pull back before it explodes." "Negative, Captain," came the reply. "Press the attack. We finish this now." The human fleet poured everything it had into the dying Vorthak flagship. Missiles, energy beams, kinetic projectiles, all focused on a single target that had terrorized human colonies for months. The crystal ship's hull finally gave way with a brilliant flash of purple light. The explosion was visible from the planet's surface as Admiral Thexmaran's flagship disintegrated into a million glittering fragments. "Flagship destroyed," reported Ryu Minho with satisfaction. "Enemy fleet is breaking formation. Without their leader, the remaining Vorthak ships lost their coordination. Some tried to flee, others attacked wildly without strategy. The human fleet moved among them like wolves hunting scattered prey. One by one, the crystal ships fell to Earth's fury. Each explosion lit up the darkness of space, marking another victory for humanity's determination to protect its own. Sunmi's fighter squadron harassed the fleeing alien vessels, preventing them from regrouping. "Don't let any of them escape," she ordered her pilots. "Today we send a message to every species in the galaxy." As the last Vorthak ship exploded in a burst of purple fire, silence fell across the Kepler system. Floating debris marked where an alien armada had tried to destroy a human colony and found themselves facing something they had never expected. Earth's children, fighting for each other across impossible distances, with courage that no alien empire could understand or defeat. The silence after the battle was almost as shocking as the fighting had been. Where 40 Vorthak warships had hung in space like deadly jewels, now only glittering debris drifted among the stars. The purple glow of alien weapons was gone, replaced by the steady lights of Earth's victorious fleet. Kim Dae-ho stood in the colony's main dome, staring up at the night sky through the transparent ceiling. His hands were shaking, but not from fear anymore. 3,000 colonists had been preparing to die, and now they were safe. It felt impossible, like waking up from a terrible dream. Park Boram's communication equipment crackled to life with an incoming transmission. The voice that came through was warm and human, speaking with the authority of someone who had just moved mountains to save strangers. "New Sol Colony, this is Admiral Choi Jae-sung of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are safe now. The alien threat has been eliminated. We've come to take you home." The dome erupted in cheers so loud that the metal walls rang like bells. Children laughed and cried at the same time. Adults hugged each other and shouted with joy. Some people fell to their knees and thanked whatever gods they believed in. Dae-ho waited for the noise to quiet down before responding. "Admiral Choi, this is Colony Administrator Kim Dae-ho. We can't believe you're here. How did you travel so far so fast?" "Your message reached Earth 3 weeks ago," Admiral Choi replied. "We left as soon as we got it. No human colony stands alone while Earth endures." Dr. Yang Miran was studying the Earth fleet through her telescope. "I count 43 ships," she reported. "Some of them show battle damage, but they're all operational." "How many people did you bring?" 15,000 of Earth's finest," came the answer. "Marines, engineers, medical teams, construction crews. We're not just here to rescue you. We're here to help you rebuild." Lee Wan-sik's voice came over the colony radio from his security post. "Sir, I'm seeing landing shuttles launching from the Earth ships. They're requesting permission to land at our main spaceport." Dae-ho felt overwhelmed by the rapid changes. A few hours ago they had been preparing for death. Now Earth's most powerful fleet was asking permission to land on their tiny world. "Permission granted for all Earth vessels," he said quickly. We don't have much to offer in terms of supplies or facilities." Admiral Choi's voice carried a smile. Administrator Kim, you don't understand. We're not here as guests. We're here as family. The first shuttles touched down 30 minutes later. Marines in Earth Defense Force uniforms secured the landing area, while medical teams rushed to check the colonists for injuries. Nobody was seriously hurt, but many people were in shock from the day's events. Chief Engineer Nam Ki-tai led a team to inspect the colony's infrastructure. Most of your systems are intact, he reported to Daeho. The alien jamming damaged your communications array, but we can fix that in a few hours. Your power grid is solid, and the life support systems are running perfectly. We built everything to last, Daeho said with pride. This colony was meant to be home for generations, and it will be, Nam assured him. We brought spare parts, construction equipment, and enough supplies to upgrade your entire facility. When we're done, this place will be stronger than ever. Captain Han Soo-jin came down with the second wave of shuttles. Her uniform showed signs of the recent battle, scorch marks from electrical fires and dust from damaged systems. But she smiled as she shook hands with the colonists. I've never seen people so happy to be alive, she told Daeho. You should be proud of how your community held together under pressure. We were ready to die, Daeho admitted. If you hadn't come. But we did come, Soo-jin interrupted gently. That's what matters now. Ace pilot Kong Sun-mi arrived with her fighter squadron, landing their small craft in the colony's vehicle maintenance area. The pilots were tired from the long battle, but they grinned as curious children surrounded their fighters. Are these real space fighters? Asked a young boy named Park Jun-seo. The fastest in the galaxy, Sun-mi replied, ruffling his hair. Want to see inside? As the day progressed, something unexpected happened. Admiral Choi had prepared evacuation procedures to take the colonists back to Earth, or to safer worlds closer to home. But the colonists had other ideas. Admiral, said Daeho during their evening meeting, we appreciate everything you've done for us, but we're not going anywhere. This is our home now. Choi looked surprised. Administrator, I understand your attachment to this place, but the outer rim is dangerous. Other alien species might attack us again, Daeho finished. We know the risks, but we came here to build something new, and that's what we're going to do. Besides, he smiled, now we know that Earth remembers its children. We're not as alone as we thought. Dr. Yang spoke up from across the table. The mineral deposits here are too valuable to abandon, and the research we've been doing on the local ecosystem could benefit all of humanity. If we leave now, we lose years of work. Lee Wan-sik nodded agreement. My security teams are already making plans with your Marines. We can build proper defenses now that we know what we're facing. Admiral Choi was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. I came here expecting to rescue refugees. Instead, I find pioneers who refuse to give up their dreams. He stood and extended his hand to Daeho. Very well. Earth will help you rebuild, and we'll leave a permanent patrol squadron to protect you. The reconstruction began immediately. Nam Ki-tae's engineering teams worked alongside colonial technicians to repair and upgrade every system. The communications array was rebuilt with military-grade equipment that could punch a signal through any kind of jamming. Park Bo-ram found herself training on quantum communication, systems that were more advanced than anything she had ever seen. With this equipment, we can talk to Earth in real time, she said in amazement. Kong Sun-mi made an unexpected decision. Admiral, I'd like to request transfer to the permanent patrol squadron. Someone needs to train the locals in fighter operations in this place. It feels like home. Her wingman Jin Ho-seok volunteered to stay as well. If Sun-mi is staying, I'm staying. Besides, someone needs to keep her out of trouble. Pilot Bae Yuri laughed. Count me in too. After what we've all been through, we're practically family anyway. As the weeks passed, New Sol Colony transformed. The simple mining outpost became a fortress of human determination. Defensive platforms guarded the approaches to the planet. Fighter squadrons patrolled the system boundaries. And at the heart of it all, 3,000 colonists continued the work they had come so far to do. The news of the Battle of Kepler 442b spread throughout human space and beyond. Other alien species took notice. Humanity was no longer a collection of scattered, defenseless colonies. They were a unified force that would cross the galaxy itself to protect their own. The Vorthok Empire, shaken by their first major defeat, began to reconsider their expansion into human territory. They had learned a hard lesson about Earth's children. 3 months after the battle, Admiral Choi prepared to return to Earth with most of his fleet. The colony was secure, The defenses were in place, and the message had been sent to anyone who might threaten human settlements. "Administrator," he said to Daeho during their final meeting, "you've built something remarkable here, not just a colony but a symbol of what humanity can achieve." "We couldn't have done it without Earth's support," Daeho replied. "When we sent that distress signal, we didn't really expect anyone to come. The distances seemed too great, the risks too high. That's what makes us human," Admiral Choi said. "We don't calculate the odds when family is in danger. We just come." As the Earth fleet prepared to depart, the entire colony gathered to watch. The massive ships rose from the planet's surface like metal mountains, their engines creating artificial auroras in the atmosphere. Daeho stood with his fellow colonists, watching their saviors disappear into hyperspace. Above them, the stars no longer seemed cold and distant. They were filled with the promise that somewhere out there, humanity stood ready to answer the call. In the months and years that followed, New Sol Colony became one of the most successful settlements in the Outer Rim. Other species came to trade and negotiate, treating the humans with new respect. The colony that had once been forgotten became a beacon of human strength and determination. And in the communications center, Park Bo-ram maintained constant contact with Earth and other human worlds. The quantum relays carried messages of hope and solidarity across impossible distances, ensuring that no human settlement would ever again face the darkness alone. The galaxy had learned a simple but powerful truth. Earth's children might be scattered among the stars, but they were never truly alone. Somewhere always help was coming.